Happy Wednesday, everyone. This is Greg Dixon here, and Bonnie is going to be joining us shortly. So, Bonnie and I have started this series called Laptop Lifestyle or Laptop Freedom Lifestyle Show. And what we started doing is we're going to present different ways every week of how to earn some money using just a laptop and an internet connection. So, Bonnie will talk about various companies, MLM companies, very network marketing companies, and today I'm going to talk about using copywriting and marketing in order to generate some money. So, in a way, writing is one of the ultimate laptop occupations because you can simply write anywhere. You can write anywhere if you even got a book. But if you want to, eventually, you're going to have to put it online into digital format, get it going. Um, so, so Bonnie later is going to talk about the book that she wrote and the creation that she wrote. But I'm just going to talk about copywriting. I've been a member of the American Writers and Artists Incorporated copywriting school, and their little publication is called the Barefoot Writer, and that's their whole thing is that you can earn good money as a freelance writer or a professional writer, copywriter, and they teach you how to go from scratch, how to start from beginning, start to end. I included marketing in this because really almost all copywriting for money occurs in a marketing context, and almost everything you do involves an image of some sort, either an image, a video, and sometimes an audio. And and yeah, it's really hard to distinguish copywriting from media productions overall from using the other media. But the kind of copywriting that pays tends to be um, emails, uh, newsletters, social media posts, video scripts, landing pages, websites, all that kind of thing. Virtually almost anything a human does to communicate involves words, and in a sense, that's all of a kind of writing and a kind of expression. Um, Sometimes the word copywriter implies more of a sales kind of approach to it, but really it's much bigger than that. You could get hired. One of the ways why I think this is pretty easy for somebody to get involved, even if they don't have a lot of copywriting training, is let's say you worked at some kind of medical equipment manufacturing company and you have a lot of inside information about manufacturing goods or medical equipment. There's a demand for people who can write product descriptions, write case studies, write um, articles about these things that aren't necessarily salesy. So that's more of a business to business kind of correspondence, a description. There's always room for sales pages. And that's more salesy. That's more what people think of when they talk about copywriting. Direct mail is writing that gets put into um, an envelope and mailed out, and that almost always involves a combination of graphics and text and put together in a compelling package. Anyway, Bonnie, are you ready to come on? So Bonnie here, she's had a few issues with her computer, but I think we're good now. So I dragged Bonnie all the way to Florida for the American Writers and Artists Incorporated copywriting boot camp, and she resisted the whole idea of being a copywriter. But don't tell her, but she actually is a paid copywriter. She has a client right now where she Cafe Canada, and she gets paid for posting on social media a few times a week, and usually she creates a cute graphic using Canva or something like that, some text, a cute story or she posts a video, and really that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, copywriting and marketing, and it's the kind of thing she can do anywhere. Anywhere she's got a laptop, anywhere she's got access to the internet, she can do it. So we started this whole venture because we were living in an RV. That's why this is being posted to Healthy Wealthy Camper, which is we were looking at ways of living and working in an RV. But really, all these things can happen anywhere. You might not necessarily be an RV person. Maybe you just like to go around the world and stay at vacation rentals by owner, or maybe you live somewhere and you just want to go hang out in the coffee shop and do your writing, do your posting, and then have a pretty good life. And there are a few things better to do that with than writing and marketing. Um, it's a valuable skill that it's in high demand. Almost every company needs it. They don't do enough. Um, so now there's a lot of AI that is as making it easier for you to create things. It also makes it easier for other people to create things. So the quality is going up. But it's something, if you're at all inclined to learn about writing, you want to communicate, and you want to have some potential for a good income, it's good. Anyway, in the link here, there's this show notes. There's a link to an article on our website at Healthy Wealthy Camper on copywriting and marketing, and it has a link to AWI. They have a free blueprint, I think it's called 9 Steps to Launching a Well-Paid Writing Career, and all of the things I've said here and how it all fits into the marketing and how you get going is all in there, and also um, I'm in a collaboration with Betty Withrow, who's a professional writer. She's a writing coach and ghostwriter, and we work in a marketing context and also a writing context to help people be successful. And we also do some training and teaching about writing a book and also doing marketing writing. So many of our clients work with us for 3 months, and then they get to the point where they've got all this stuff going in the right direction, and then they go on their own. I want to get Bonnie to jump in here because she wrote a book a while ago, and she can explain why she wrote the book and why it's important for you to think about writing a book and what the process was. And it really wasn't that hard. So Bonnie, you want to take it away? Okay. We got a bit of a problem with Bonnie's mute. Can you unmute yourself?
There we go.
Oh, there we
And
go. That's better.
I see it now. One of the things I've found over the years are most people, and it's a statistic, want to write a book. They have an idea, they have a story to tell. They'll say, yeah, I want to write that book and I'll get the round to it. And so, what I'm going to encourage everyone is you could write a book in a weekend. You can write a book in 2 weeks. It's very easy. The publisher that I worked with shared a formula. And I'll back up a little bit. I met a man who had been in a car accident and was completely in a coma. And he had to learn everything. Excuse me. He had to learn everything over again. His name is Michael Koss. And he was fascinating because he came up to me one day and he said, Bonnie, I wrote a book. I said, really, Michael, you wrote a book? Mind you, he can't walk. He's still learning to re-walk. And that was about 12 years ago. But he said he had to relearn everything. And so he's telling his story. And so what's interesting and fascinating is that he said, I typed it with one finger. Now, I was in a different position than he was. I was a caregiving then at that time. I said, oh my goodness, he typed it with one finger and he never gave up. And so, for any of you who thinks, oh, I don't have the time or the energy or whatever, think about this. If someone who was brain injured and could type it with one finger and got published and is well known for what he wrote and got an award for writing the book, The Courage to Come Back. You can do it too. And why is this so important? Getting yourself into published form creates a whole new dynamic. And what is that dynamic? When you say, I'm a published author, people look at you differently. So after Michael shared his experience, I took the same class he did and wrote my book on how to get a job you love, because I have always been able to get a job. And so what's interesting about that is the publisher worked with me to find out what I knew. I knew a lot of stuff, but that one it was a shoe-in for me, how to get a job you love. And even though it was written about 12 years ago, it's still valid today because people often are doing jobs they don't like. And hence, back to this laptop lifestyle, Greg and I have created a lifestyle we like and can earn money from that. And we don't have to go to work to a day drudgery job that we don't like. I do a 1 day a week gig at a bakery. I love it. It's fun. So back to the book. The book I wrote was as easy as this: consistently writing. I had, because I was caregiving, about 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening to write. And when you do it consistently and you put your pen to paper and you start writing, your brain starts kicking in going, ooh, wow, I've got all these thoughts to dump out. And Julia Cameron wrote a good book on how to write a book. But if you start doing just a simple thing of writing every day at the same time of day, and Julia Cameron called it morning pages, you can call it whatever you want, your ideas would dump out, and then eventually you can get an editor or whatever. You don't have to edit as you go. You want to just let the words flow onto the paper. And so my book took a while, but I did get it out. And what was really cute is Michael Koss said, because I think our class was how to write a book in 90 days or something. He said, well, it took me 2 years because I was brain injured. But what I'm saying to you is you will feel different about yourself if you get your thoughts and stories out into a book form. And people still love books. And it can be an ebook, it can be a say for a business, or it could be a regular novel. But it's all about consistency and allowing yourself the time to let the brain dump. And that's all I can tell you is people will look at you differently. It'll feel good. It's a process, but I know Greg and Betty just will make it so easy. And Betty's just amazing to work with. So that's my encouragement. Get that book out there. Don't sit on it. People are waiting to hear from you.
Yeah, that's one thing Bonnie and I almost always say to somebody when they're talking about something is, have you written your book yet? So, and it's a process that you can do on your own, or you can do in a group. Betty and I are launching a small group workshop series in October where we're looking for 2 to 4 people to work with us. And we'll meet once a week on a sort of a group session where we'll teach some things and then we'll have a discussion. And the advantage of a small group like that is people can trade notes amongst themselves and be accountability partners. We also have a book retainer that takes people from beginning to end. And I think Bonnie's going to be involved with a kind of a book writing process where we'll make it easy for people to like a starting place and then a process to follow through. So the one thing I'm going to say about Bonnie's book is, so she wrote it. She was part of a program. She wrote it. She got help writing it and formatting it and got it published. But she technically didn't publish it herself. So it went out onto Amazon, and she has no idea if anybody bought it really, or if where the money went. So that's one of the things. So when Betty and I, when we take people through the book process, we have them, they determine, they push, they are the publisher. If we go through Amazon direct publishing, They are the publisher. It's on their account. They do the final review, push the final submit button. We get them to that point, but we don't take it beyond that. And then we might, if they want a real traditional book publisher, we'll help introduce them to that process, which is a whole game in itself. And then if there are some other self-publishing platforms like BookBaby or Ingram Sparks that we can look at too. But one of the things coming back to copywriting and marketing is, once you get your book out, in a way, that's just the start, right? In order to promote it and get your sales going, you need to start that. And Betty says the time to start marketing your book is when you first decide you're going to write it. So that's part of our process, is we get people into writing and going through all the writing and revision and then editing, formatting, and publishing. But we will also encourage them, either on their own or with our help, to start marketing the book right away, which includes having a landing page, collecting emails for notices, maybe putting out sample chapters, getting some feedback, try to create a buzz for the whole thing, as you're going. So
what that also does, Greg, is it helps people move them forward. For instance, I was kind of dragging my toes towards the end because I thought, oh my God, what if it is published, And so by putting the effort into getting it ready, you actually are moving along with the whole project yourself, and it doesn't get stuck that way. It keeps you moving with a goal in mind to get that book out there, because one of the things that my former publisher said was he met a woman who had sat on her book for 20 years. She kept thinking she was going to get around to it. But really and truly, once you have the idea and it's brain dumped out, it can be edited. It can get out there fairly quickly. And what does that do? Well, again, you become an accomplished writer and published author, and you can take that to the bank. And that's the exciting thing. It's not always the book itself, but it's the opportunities that it creates with your book. I have to tell this quick story. There was a woman about 2009 that was working, and she wrote a small book on marketing. And what was interesting is when she went to get a job, she applied for the 2010 Olympics in the Vancouver, British Columbia area. And of all the applicants, she was the one that had written a book. And they wanted to say, well, why should we hire you? She said, well, I wrote the book on marketing, and she got the job. So sometimes it can come in different ways that will actually enhance your own life. She got a well-paying job for that Olympics. It could be a novel, though. And in that sense, it could be going out into a library and reading your book. Again, creating connections. So when we talk about laptop lifestyle and how to earn money and how to monetize the money, that's what we're really good at. And so if you have an idea, it's always good to discuss it with professionals, because they can actually say, well, that's maybe a good way to go, or maybe try it this way. So that's why you want to meet with Greg and Betty, because they're going to give you the best ideas, the best way to frame it, maybe even a different topic. You never know. And also people say, well, I'll get to it someday. And again, that may or may not happen without a helping hand. So that's what you want to look for, is that helping, guiding hand to get you through the process, especially what Greg was talking about. I was ignorant. I had no idea. And no one really explained it to me. But Betty and Greg do know, because they've done it before and they've gotten books out there. And so that's, I guess I just had to jump in there with that. For you, Greg.
Yeah, thank you. And the other thing, like Bonnie's usually say, if you've gotten your book yet, and I'm more inclined to say, well, if you made your book into an online course or membership. And so Betty and I are, and also with our total traffic and conversion, we're big into reuse and repurpose. So your book is probably the source of could be the source of maybe 20 social media posts. and it could be video, and it could be made into an audiobook, all sorts of things. So
Hmm.
all sorts of possibilities start with creating something, writing the book, putting it together. And the other, I think it's sometimes just rewarding in itself. Like you may just want to be compelled to write your novel, write your book, write your helpful tips book, and without necessarily worrying about whether it's going to make you a fortune or not. It's just something you want to do, and a printed book lasts forever, right? The ebook stuff that kind of evaporates, but a printed book seems to have more staying power, and it has more cachet with when you're if you're speaking or something. If you've got a printed book that you can give out or sell, that
Hmm.
gives you more credibility. If for nothing more than you've invested time into creating the book, and invested some money into printing it and marketing it, and all of that has some value. So again, if you want to come visit us at Healthy Wealthy Camper, we haven't really been posting there a lot in the last couple of years, but we're getting back into it, and we're going to do this series, which is the um, laptop freedom or laptop freedom lifestyle show, and with a series of articles. And Bonnie, do you know what you want to talk about next week?
I do. I want to talk to people about before you jump into a network marketing company, what to look for, because it's very important before you jump in to know, what's going to best suit you and what's going to best suit your budget and what's going to best suit getting paid. And so that's the big one. You really want to know your P's and Q's before you jump in. We often just jump in and say, oh, yeah, I'll do that with you, Mary
Yeah,
or Joe or whoever. Yeah, let's do that together. But there's some questions I want you to know and ask before you do.
no, that's perfect. So that'll be good. And somewhere down the road, we're going to talk about some specific companies and what they have to offer,
That's
and
right.
why it could be a fit for you. It comes down to what you like. So Bonnie's got a history in the natural health industry, so she leans towards health and wellness products. Other people may lean towards more mechanics, or maybe even property related things. Or so it's really what find something that fits you, what you're interested
Mhm.
in, and what you can
Mhm.
get behind. Because uh, you'll be way more successful if you can jump behind something. So
Absolutely. You have to love it. You have to enjoy it. You can't be selling something that you don't enjoy. It will come right through to people.
yeah.
You have your favorite story of your bro who was selling a fat loss product at
Well,
some point.
well, okay, yeah, yeah. My okay. I should show you. This is my I'm not a skinny puppy at any way, right? And my brother's been involved with a whole pile of different network marketing groups. And the funniest one is called Skinny Girl Diet Products, right? And the card had this really cartoon of a really skinny young woman. And I just looked at Doug. You're not really a good spokesperson for this product. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've all
So
done it. We've all done it.
right, we've
Well,
all
we
done
look
it.
forward to seeing you next week at this same time. Is that right?
Yeah, well, we're going to be at 1 next week, most likely, unless something come up. We had a conflict
Mhm.
today, so we bumped it back to 2. But if you
Mhm.
didn't know, it wouldn't make any difference to you what time we go
Well,
on.
the other thing is feel free to reach out to either of us to have a
Yeah,
private conversation. I'm
yeah,
always open to people who are truly looking for the laptop lifestyle and really love that freedom to
yeah,
do as you wish when you wish. And we also love to share with you is you can be working a regular job and get your laptop lifestyle going and
yeah,
transition over. So that's something we want to share with you is this is not an all or nothing. This is an all and something. So keep tuned, keep coming back
yeah.
and or reach directly out to us.
Yeah, go visit healthywealthycamper.com. There's a place there. I think you can join our mailing list. You can also make an appointment with either Bonnie or myself, and we can talk about, where you're at and where you want to go, and maybe we can suggest something for you or to do something for you. And and the whole thing is we want to have fun, right? So what was our other happy, healthy, happy, healthy, wealthy? Anyway, so the whole thing is to have fun.
That's right. All
So
right.
anyway, so happy Wednesday, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye-bye now.